And greetings. Thank you for joining me, you guys. I really appreciate you being here. We're talking about Joseph again today. Tomorrow. Actually, I guess we're going to be talking about Joseph for quite some time now. We've kind of made that transition to Joseph from Jacob. Jacob was in a lot of chapters, but we're phasing Jacob out and coming to Joseph. Last week, if you recall, Joseph, one of the first things he did after he saved all the grain and he had sons, he made a way for people from all over the earth to check in Israel. They had to give their fathers' names. He required that the sons come, and they had to give their fathers' names. And we saw last week that he, for some reason, was calling the boys spies. Well, it didn't really make a lot of sense in Torah why he would call them spies, but when we saw it in Yasher, we saw that the boys, the sons of Jacob, Jacob's seed, came in 10 separate gates. And that alone is suspicious. Then they disappeared in the city for 3 days until they were found and brought before Joseph. They were found in the house of the harlots. Well, they were looking for their brother. But does that look suspicious? They're here to buy grain, and yet they don't buy grain, and they disappear for 3 days? Well, there was definite reason why Joseph would say that these men were spies, here to spy out the land, to find out the weaknesses. Remember, he asked them, how's your brother? How's your father? Do you have any other brothers? And they told him that they did. Well, in fact, I think they might have asked. He might have asked it directly, is there another brother? I forget how that actually went down. But one of the things he did was he kept Simon. And in Torah, look at what it says down towards the bottom here. Where is Simon? Here it is. And he turned himself away and wept. And he returned again and talked with them. And he took Simon and bound him before his eyes. That's all it says. He took Simon and bound him before their eyes. Well, in Yasher, we found out you don't just take Simon. Remember, Simon and Levi were the ones who took out Israel. Simon was the one who was going to fight the Midianites when they were taking Joseph without their permission. And when Simon was going to be taken in Yasher, it didn't go well for Joseph's men. He screamed and they were terrified and ran away. And it was Manasseh, 5 years old, who punched him in the back of the neck and took him captive, put him in the prison. Right in front of the brothers. Wow. You know, there's so much that is left out about the greatness of Israel's seed and their strength and their power and their Elohim. We don't see it. It's hidden from us. Why is all of this amazing information left out in Torah? Well, the boys got back. They found out there was money left in their sacks. They were terrified about that. And it was, who was it? Reuben, who said, we got to go back and get Simeon. He volunteered to go back. Take Benjamin. Remember, he said, don't come back without Benjamin. And Jacob was not going to let Benjamin go back? He had the food he needed. They were good for now. Why should he send Benjamin? Why lose Benjamin too? He says, we've already lost Simeon. And I'm going to let you lose Benjamin as well. He says, Simeon is no more. And you want to take Benjamin? All these things are against me. Reuben went so far to say, kill my two sons if I do not bring Benjamin back to you. Well, Jacob was not going to have it. He could not bear to lose Benjamin, the only heir of Rachel. Of course, he's got lots more heirs of Rachel because Simeon has 10 sons. Well, we left off in Yasher with this. And Reuben said to his father, thou shalt slay my two sons if I do not bring thy son and place him before thee. And Jacob said unto his sons, abide ye here, and do not go down to Egypt, for my son shall not go down to Egypt, nor die like his brother. He's concerned about losing Benjamin. Well, Judah had the answer. He says, he's telling them right here. And Judah said unto them, refrain ye from him until the corn is finished. And then he will say, take down your brother when he finds his own life and the life of his household in danger of the famine. Judah knew. He knew. It's only a matter of time before we're out of food again. And we're going to see it was a year and 2 months before Jacob said, we need to go down and get some more food. Well, this is what we're going to talk about today, is that second visit. So let me turn back to Genesis 43. We're going to go through 43 today and some corresponding material in Yasher. I think it's all very, very interesting what we're going to see. I hope you find it as interesting as I do. It says, now the famine was severe in the land, the Eretz. We're talking about the whole earth. It's severe in the whole earth. And it came to pass when they had eaten up the grain which they had brought from Egypt. How long did that take? It doesn't say in Torah. It does say in Yasher that their father said to them, go back, buy us a little food. But Judah spoke to him, saying, the man solemnly warned us, saying, you shall not see my face unless your brother is with you. I was just looking at my notes here. What did I have as far as my notes? Oh, yeah, how long did the food last? We're going to see that. I don't even need to mention that. There's the Eretz. Okay. It's if you send, this is Judah again talking, if you send our brother with us, we will go down and buy you food. But if you will not send him, we will not go down. For the man said to us, you shall not see my face unless your brother is with you. Then it says, and Israel. It doesn't say Jacob. And Israel said, why didst thou deal so wrongfully with me to let the man know whether you had still another brother? We're going to talk about that today in Yasher. They were asked point blank. And they said, the man asked us pointedly about ourselves and our families, saying, is your father still alive? Have you another brother? And he told him we told him according to these words. Could we possibly have known that he would say, bring your brother down? Well, no. Oh, let me blow this up. There you go. Then Judah said to Israel, his father, Israel again, not Judah. I think it's interesting. He's talking about Israel, his father, not Jacob, his father. Why did they even give him a name? Then Jacob said to his father, but they say Israel, his father. I just think it's interesting. Send the lad with me, and we will rise and go, that we may live and not die, both we and you and our Little ones, it says. The word that they're using here is tough. Children. We're going to see little ones used in Yasher as well. I'm sure this is the word that they're using is tough. I myself will be surety for him. What does it mean to be surety? Do you know that you are surety for another? You're surety for yourself, for your corporate self. Let me try to explain, but first, I've got a note in here. I remember let's see if I can find it. Surety, here it is right here. Jehovah has some things to say about surety. It says, a man devoid of understanding shakes hands in a pledge and becomes surety for his friend. A man devoid of understanding. He who is surety for a stranger will suffer. But the one who hates being surety is secure. Here's another one, Proverbs. My son, if you become surety for your friend, if you have shaken a hand in a pledge for a stranger, you are snared by the words of your mouth. You are taken by the words of your mouth. So do this, my son. Son, deliver thyself, for you have come into the hands of your friend. Go and humble yourself. Plead with your friend. Give no sleep to your eyes, nor slumber to your eyelids. This is important. Deliver yourself like a gazelle from the hands of the hunter, and like a bird from the hands of the fowler. Here's another. Do not be one of those who shakes hands in a pledge, one of those who is surety for debts. If you have nothing with which to pay, why should he take away your bed from under you? Last one, be surety for your servant for good. Be surety for your servant for good. This is talking about Yehovah being surety for us as he is our master. Do not let the proud oppress me. What does this mean to be surety? Do you know, and I said it at the beginning of this, that you are surety for yourself? You don't know it. On my driver's license, here's my driver's license. This is a 2023. Issue date 2023. Actually, I thought I did this even sooner than this, but I guess I used this under duress. Do you see how this is signed under duress? Because I don't want to be surety for this man in the all capital letters. This is a corporate man. If you pull out your driver's license right now, on your driver's license, it's all capital letters. Is that a proper way to do a name? The answer is no, it's not a proper way to do a name. It's a corporate name. It's a human name. It's a person name. We think human, we think person, that's good. It's not. It's a mask. It's a false identity that when you sign your driver's license, you are surety for that. What do I even call him? That straw man. A fake man. That man, in all capital letters, is subject to all the laws, state laws, federal laws, all the laws in the United States. I said laws. They're really not laws. They're statutes. They're things that, getting a pet license, getting a driver's license, getting a any kind of license, fishing license, marriage license, all of that because you have signed your driver's license. You have committed yourself to following all those laws. I'm not under any of those laws. I signed mine under duress. And when I saw that they were still trying to take advantage of me, even when my license was signed under duress, you see this hole in it right here? I gave it back to them. They gave me a voluntary surrender of a driver's license. I now call that my get out of jail free card. They can see who I was, and I show them my church ID to show them who I am. A servant of Yehovah, my master, my Adonai. And you know what they say to me every time that I get stopped? Have a nice day, Mr. DDA. Drive carefully. I'll bet you in the last, 20 years. This was issued in 2003. I'm sure I gave it back shortly after that. In the last 20 years, I've probably been pulled over 8 times. Pretty much all for speeding. Not that I'm a speeder at all. I almost always stay within 5 miles under the speed limit, but you get stopped now and then. Your surety. This is what we're talking about. We're surety for ourselves. They have got you captured, and you need to find out about what all this is about. Well, I'm going to stop it here. He's going to be surety for his brother, for Benjamin. I myself will be surety for him. From my hand you shall require him. If I do not bring him back to you, set him before you, then let me bear the blame forever. That's some strong talking there. For if we had not lingered, well, here, do I want to say one more thing about this? I've got thought it was here. Oh, this is surety. That's why I don't have it. Here it is. This is an article that I wrote on my blog under the Coming Out series. You can see that is highlighted right there. And here it is. You are surety for yourself. You are surety for yourself. Then I said, deliver yourself. Talking about surety too. How do we deliver ourselves? I had to deliver myself personally by giving my driver's license back. I drive now under another authority, the kingdom of heaven, my Father's jurisdictional authority, which is worldwide. Well, there's much to learn. Let me continue. For if we had not lingered, here it is right here at the top, verse 10, surely by now we would have returned the second time. Yes, this is Judah. Remember, he was the one that said to Reuben, when the food runs out, he's going to want us to go back. We're just going to wait. And now the food's run out, and here we are. And their father, Israel, said to them, if it must be so, then do this. Take some of the best fruits of the land in your vessels and carry them down a present for the man, Joseph. A little balm, a little honey, spices, myrrh, pistachio nuts, almonds. Take double money in your hand and take back in your hand the money that was returned in the mouth of your sack. So we're taking triple money. The money that we paid the first time, the money that we still had, and now new money. Arise and go to the man. He says, and it says El Shaddai. God Almighty is how they translate it. It actually says, El, my provider. El is Jacob's provider, and my provider, and El, my provider, give you mercy before the man, that he may release your other brother and Benjamin. If I'm bereaved, I'm bereaved. We don't know how serious the hunger is right now. Yasher again is going to make this much more clear. So the men took that present and Benjamin, and they took the double money in their hands and arose and went down to Egypt. And they stood before Joseph. Did they take anything else with them? I'm here to tell you they did take something else with them. They took a letter that was written in Jacob's handwriting to Pharaoh. We're going to find out about that as well. When Joseph saw Benjamin with them, he said to the steward of his house, take these men to my home and slaughter Zabak, an animal, and make ready, for these men will dine with me at noon. Well, they heard that, and the men were concerned. Then the men did as Joseph ordered, and the man brought them, and the man brought the men into Joseph's house. Now the men, talking about the brothers, were afraid because they were brought into Joseph's house, and they said, it is because of the money which was returned in our sacks the first time that we have been brought in, so that he may make a case against us and seize us and take us as slaves with our donkeys. I think it's interesting. With our donkeys? Why do they even mention the donkeys? They're going to take them as slaves. When they drew near to the steward of Joseph's house, they talked to him at the door of the house and said, "Oh, sir, we indeed came down at first to buy food, but it happened when we came to the encampment that we opened our sacks, and there each man's money was in the mouth of his sack, or money in full weight, or our money in full weight. So we have brought it back in our hands, or in our hand, and we have brought it down, and we have brought down our money in our hands to buy food. We do not know who put our money in our sacks." Now, this is the man, the person that's working for Joseph. He says, "Be at peace. Peace be with you. Do not be afraid. Your Elohim, your father's Elohim, has given you treasure in your sacks." He says, "I had your money." Then he brought Simeon out to them. I think what he's saying is, I had your money. I put it back in your sacks. Then he brought Simeon out to them. Now look at Simeon. What's been going on with Simeon? The last time they saw him, he was tied up. So the man brought the men into Joseph's house and gave them water, and they washed their feet, and he gave their donkeys food. I guess it doesn't even talk about how Simeon was treated. In here, they just said that Simeon was brought out to them. Then they made the present ready for Joseph's coming at noon, for they heard that they would eat bread there. And when Joseph came home, they brought him the present which was in their hand in the house, and bowed down to him to the earth. Then he asked them, "Was it well?" Here, then they asked him about how do we even say this? He asked them, and he asked unto their shalom. And how is the shalom of your father, the old man, of which you spoke? Is he still alive? The live word is the Kai, 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 Kai. How do you say that? Kai. Is he alive? To life, lakayim, that's the same word that we're talking about. Is he still alive? But this being well is both being used, the word shalom. I think that's very interesting. Shalom has much more meaning to it than just peace. We think of it as peace. But I think it's more wholly related to our well-being of our soul, our health, our spirit. Are you well? Is your father well? And they answered, your servant is in good health. He is still alive. When it says good health, it says he is shalom. He is shalom, but they put good health. And they bowed down their heads and prostrated themselves. Then he lifted up his eyes and saw his brother Benjamin, his mother's son, and said, is this your younger brother of whom you spoke to me? And he said, Elohim be gracious to thee, my son. Now his heart yearned for his brother, so Joseph made haste and sought somewhere to weep. And he went into his chamber and wept there. You know, we're going to see, we saw it last week when he first met the brothers. He went and he went away and he wept again. Now here he is weeping for his brother. But you can understand the joy and the emotions that Joseph has experienced because they have not lost and then found what he has. You know, unless you've experienced a loss like what Joseph has gone through, to recover that again makes such joy come to your heart. And this is what Joseph is experiencing right now. But he's cautious. He's not letting himself be known who he is just yet. He wants to test the brothers to see if they're sincere. Then he lifted up his eyes and saw his brother, read that. Now his heart yearned for his brother. So Joseph made haste and sought somewhere to weep, and he wept in his chamber. And he went to his chamber and wept there. And he washed his face and came out. And he restrained himself and said, serve the bread. So they set him a place by himself. Joseph is going to have a place by himself, and them by themselves, and the Egyptians who ate with him by themselves, because the Egyptians could not eat food with the Hebrews, for it was an abomination to the Hebrews. Oh, I think that's so interesting. This is how it is. A just man is an abomination to the righteous, and he who is upright is an abomination to the wicked. So who's the righteous? Who's the wicked? In this situation, the brothers are the righteous brothers. The people of Egypt are the wicked ones. In Yasher, we're going to see Joseph had Benjamin eat with him and then told Ben who he was. Oh my goodness. And they sat before him, the firstborn according to his birthright, and the youngest according to his youth. What he's saying here is they made him sit. He made him sit in their birth order. And they're all going, how does he know what our birth order is? And the men looked in astonishment at one another. Then he took servings to them from before. This says servings. Later on, it's going to talk about gifts. I think it's more inclined to be gifts than servings, but it says servings here in Torah. I didn't look up the word. I probably should have looked up the word. Then he took servings to them from before him, but Joseph's serving was 5 times as much as any of theirs. So they drank and were merry. with him. This 5 times business. No, I guess this is not 5 times. After Joseph seats his brothers according to their birthright, they are impressed that he knows their birth order. By seeing their brothers in such a manner, Joseph is intentionally playing into the notion of entitlement. Their brothers may entertain any entitlement that brothers may entertain based on their birth order. Reuben being first, he's the firstborn. Of course, he lost the birthright because of what he did with Zilpah. I think it was Zilpah in taking her. Maybe it was Bilhah. Must have been Bilhah, Rachel's handmaid. So he's playing them right now, trying to see if maybe there is some, Benjamin's the youngest. Why should Benjamin get 5 times what we're getting? He wants to see if there's that attitude in the brothers. They had that attitude when they got rid of him. And so now they're doing the 5-time business. And it says they drank and were merry. They were drunk. Joseph, I think, is inebriating them in order so that they can be themselves and he can see if they really are repentant men. Now, we don't know it, but Joseph has already gotten the letter from his brother. So that's there, from his father. So that's there also. Let's go to Yasher. I've got about a chapter and a half that I want to read in Yasher that talks about the information that we're reading here. I think you're going to find it very enlightening. And again, is the how do I even say it? The reward, the blessing of being Israel's seed. Israel, remember, Israel is a spiritual born man. Jacob is the man, but we're not talking about Jacob's seed. We're talking about Israel's seed. Israel's seed, any man can become. He leaves the kingdom of his birth, participates in the Passover after getting circumcised, and he becomes Israel's seed. And as for a man, a spiritual born man. And the blessing that comes from that is being hidden from us oftentimes in Torah. Here is where we left off. We were just talking about what Reuben and Judah said. Wait till the food runs out. He's going to send us back. Well, here we are getting sent back. And in those days, the famine was sore throughout the land. And all the people of the earth, not world, went and came to Egypt to buy food. For the famine prevailed greatly amongst them. And Jacob's seed remained in Canaan 1 year and 2 months until the corn was finished. And it came to pass, after their corn was finished, and the whole household of Jacob was pinched with hunger, and the children and Jacob's sons' children came together, and they approached Jacob. And they all surrounded him, and they said unto him, Give unto us bread. Wherefore shall we perish through hunger in thy presence? This is the children coming to Jacob, his grandchildren. Jacob heard the words of his son's children, tough, and he wept a great weeping. And this pity was roused for them. And Jacob called unto his sons, and they all came and sat before him. I think he was weeping more for the fact that he would have to send his son Benjamin. Obviously cares about the family, but I think he has in the back of his mind that if these boys are going to go get more food, he's going to have to send his son. He knows. He's no dummy. but he's going to try and bluff his way through. Judah's not going to have any part of it. Jacob heard the words of his son's children, and he wept a great weeping, and his pity was roused for them. And Jacob called unto his sons, and they all came and sat before him. And Jacob said unto them, have you not seen your children, your Toph, have been weeping over me this day, saying, Give us bread. And there is none. Now therefore return and buy for us a little food. And Judah answered and said unto his father, If thou wilt send our brother with us, we will go down and buy corn for thee. And if thou wilt not send him, then we will not go down. For surely the king of Egypt particularly enjoined us, saying, You shall not see my face, unless your brother be with you. For the king of Egypt is a strong and mighty king. And behold, if we shall go down without our brother, we shall all be put to death. Would they be put to death? Probably not. But would they get food? Maybe not. Dost thou not know? Hast thou not heard that this king is very powerful and wise? And there is none like unto him in all the earth. Behold, we have seen all the kings of the earth. Yeah, and they've seen them all over Canaan. And we have not seen one like that king, the king of Egypt. Surely amongst all the kings of the earth, there is none greater than Abimelech, king of the Philistines. Yet the king of Egypt is greater and mightier than he. And Abimelech can only be compared to one of his officers. Father, thou hast not seen his palace, his throne, all his servants standing before him. Thou hast not seen the king upon his throne in his pomp and royal appearance, dressed in his kingly robes with a large golden crown on his head. Thou hast not seen the honor and glory which Elohim has given unto him, for there is none like unto him in the earth. All this has been left out of Torah. Father, thou hast not seen the wisdom, the understanding, and the knowledge which Elohim has given in his heart, nor heard his sweet voice when he spake unto us. We know not, Father, who made him acquainted with our names, and all that befell us. Yet he asked also after thee, saying, Is your father still alive? Is it well with him? Is it shalom with him? Thou hast not seen the affairs of the government of Egypt regulated by him, without inquiring of Pharaoh his Lord. Thou hast not seen the awe and fear which he impressed upon all the Egyptians. He goes on and on. And also when we went from him, he threatened to do unto each. No, when we went from him, we threatened to do unto Egypt like unto the rest of the cities of the Amorites. And we were exceedingly wroth against his words, which he spoke concerning us as spies. Now, when we shall again come before him, his terror will fall upon us, and not one of us will be able to speak to him either a little or a great thing. Now, therefore, Father, send, we pray thee, the lad with us, and we will go down and buy thee food for our support, and not die through hunger. And Joseph said, Why have you dealt so ill with me to tell the king you had a brother? What is this thing you have done to me? See, this is the one verse that we see in Torah that He has none of the stuff but prior to it there. And Judah said unto Jacob, his father, give the lad into my care, and we will rise up and go down to Egypt. This is Judah talking now. And buy corn, and then return. And it shall be when we return, if the lad is not with us, that I will bear the blame forever. This is what we're talking about with the surety. Thou hast not seen all the infants weeping over thee through hunger. Hast thou seen all the infants weeping over thee through hunger? And there is no power in thy hand to satisfy them. Now let thy pity be roused for them, and send our brother with us, and we will go. For how will Yahovah's kindness to our ancestors be manifested to thee when thou sayest to the king of Egypt, when thou sayest that the king of Egypt will take away thy son? It's like he's speaking negatively. They're challenging him on this. We are supposed to get kindness from Yahovah, but he's saying that he's going to get wickedness. As Yahovah liveth, not as Pharaoh liveth. That's how Joseph says. As Yahovah liveth, we will not leave him I will not leave him until I bring him and place him before thee. This is Judah that is saying this. Judah, we're going to see, is going to back up his words. But pray for us unto Yahovah, that he will deal kindly with us. Pray for us to cause us to be received favorably and kindly before the king of Egypt and his men. For had we not delayed, surely we would have returned a second time with thy son. Look at how much more information is being given to us. And Jacob said unto his sons, I trust Yahovah Elohim, that he may deliver you, and give you favor in the sight of the king of Egypt, and in the sight of all his men. Now therefore rise up, go to the man, and take for him in your hands a present from what can be obtained in the land, and bring it before him, and may my provider give you mercy before him, that he may send Benjamin and Simeon your brother with you. And all the men rose up, and they took their brother Benjamin. They took in their hands a large present of the best of the land, and they took a double portion of silver. And Judah strictly commanded his sons concerning Benjamin, saying, take heed of him and the way in which you are going. Look at what he says. And do not separate yourselves from him in the road, neither in Egypt. Don't let him be separated from you. And Jacob rose up from his sons and spread forth his hands. And he prayed unto Yahovah on account of his son, saying, O Yahovah, Elohim of heaven and earth, remember thy covenant with our father Abraham. Remember it with my father Isaac. And deal kindly with my sons, and deliver them not into the hands of the king of Egypt. Do it, I pray thee, O Yahovah, O Elohim, for the sake of thy mercies, and redeem all my, he says, children, and rescue them from Egyptian power, and send them their two brothers. And all Jacob's sons' women and their children lifted up their eyes to heaven, and they all wept before Jehovah and cried unto him to deliver their father from the hand of the king of Egypt. And Jacob wrote a letter to the king of Egypt and gave it into the hand of Judah and into the hands of his sons for the king of Egypt, saying, from thy servant Jacob, son of Isaac, son of Abraham, the Hebrew, the prince of Elohim, to the powerful and wise king, the revealer of secrets, king of Egypt, greetings. Be it known, Adonai, he's calling the king of Egypt his master. Be it known, Adonai and king, or Adonai, the king of Egypt. The famine was sore upon us in the land of Canaan. And I sent my sons to thee to buy a little food from thee for our support. For my sons surrounded me, and I, being very old, cannot see with my eyes, for my eyes have become very heavy through age, as well as daily weeping for my son, for Joseph, who was lost from before me. Joseph's going to read this letter. He's going to see the love that his father has for him. And I commanded my sons that they should not enter the gates of the city when they came to Egypt on account of the inhabitants of the land. What he's telling him is he told his sons to enter at different gates of the city when they came into the land. As I commanded them to go about Egypt and I also commanded them to go about Egypt and seek for my son Joseph. Perhaps they might find him there. And they did so. And thou didst consider them as spies of the land. You know, I put this in pink. I'm not sure what to do with it. Did the boys finally tell their brother or tell their father that Joseph wasn't eaten? Did he somehow know that they were in Egypt or that he was possibly in Egypt? I don't know. Have we not heard concerning thee that thou didst interpret Pharaoh's dream and didst speak truly unto him? How dost thou not know in thy wisdom whether my sons are spies or not? Come on, king. Now therefore, Adonai, my master and king, behold, I have sent my son before thee, talking about Benjamin, as thou didst speak unto my sons. I beseech thee to put thy eyes upon him until he is returned to me in peace with his brethren. For dost thou not know, hast thou not heard that which our Elohim did unto Pharaoh when he took my mother Sarah, and what he did unto Abimelech, king of the Philistines, on account of her, and also what our father Abraham did unto the 4 kings of Elam, not the 9 kings of Elam, how he smote them all with a few men that were with them. He killed 800,000 men with 323. It's crazy. And also what my sons Simeon and Levi did unto the 8 cities of the Amorites, Shechem and the other 7 cities. Of course, the brothers helped with the other 7 cities. He left that out. And also on account of their brother Benjamin, they consoled themselves for the loss of his brother Joseph. What will they do then for him when they see the hand of any people prevailing over them for his sake? Dost thou not know, O king of Egypt, that the power of Elohim is with us, and that also Elohim ever heareth our prayers, and forsake forsakes us not all the days. Whose prayers does Elohim hear? The prayers of the righteous or the prayers of the wicked? He hears their prayers. And when my sons told me of thy dealings with them, I called not unto Yehovah on account of thee. I didn't ask Elohim to kill you, for then thou wouldst have perished with thy men before my son Benjamin came before thee. But I thought that as Simeon was my son, as Simeon my son was in thy house, perhaps thou mightest deal kindly with him. Therefore I did not this thing unto thee, to call unto Yehovah on account of thee. No, I gave you mercy. Now therefore, behold, Benjamin, my son, cometh unto thee with my sons. Take heed of him, and put thy eyes upon him, and then will Elohim place his eyes over thee and throughout thy kingdom. Now I have told thee all that is in my heart. And behold, my sons are coming to thee with their brother. Examine the face of the whole earth for their sake, and send them back in peace with their brethren. And Jacob gave the record to his sons, the message to his sons in the care of Judah to give unto the king of Egypt. And the sons of Jacob rose up and took Benjamin and the whole of the present, and they went and came down to Egypt, and they stood before Joseph. And Joseph beheld his brother Benjamin with them, and he saluted them. And these men came to Joseph's house. And Joseph commanded the superintendent of the house to give his brethren to eat. And he did so unto them. And at noon time, Joseph sent the men to come before him with Benjamin. And the men told the superintendent of Joseph's house concerning the silver that was returned in their sacks. And he said unto them, It is well with you, fear not. And he brought their brother Simeon to them. Well, he did say they brought the brother Simeon to them. But look what it says. And Simeon said unto his brother, and Yehovah, the Egyptians' master, the Egyptians' Adonai, has acted very kindly unto me. He did not keep me bound, as you saw with your eyes. For when you went from the city, he let me free and dealt kindly with me in his house. And Judah took Benjamin by the hand. No, I'm sorry. Oh, no, that's right. And Judah took Benjamin by the hand, and they came before Joseph, and they bowed down to him to the ground. And the men gave the present unto Joseph. And they all sat before him, and Joseph said unto them, Is it well with you? Is it shalom with you? Is it shalom with your children? Is it shalom with your aged father? And they said, It is shalom. And Judah took the record from Jacob, took the record which Jacob had sent, and gave it into the hands of Joseph. And Joseph read the letter and knew his father's writing. And he wished to weep. And he went into the inner room, and he wept a great weeping. And he went out, and he lifted up his eyes to his brother Benjamin. Remember, Benjamin here is 30 years old. He has 2 wives, 10 sons. The other boys are 39 to 45 years old. And Joseph's sons now are 6 years old. Remember, they're twins, Manasseh and Ephraim. And he called and said, Is this your brother? of whom you spoke unto me? And Benjamin approached Joseph, and Joseph placed his hand upon his head, and said unto him, May Elohim be gracious unto thee, my son. And Joseph saw his brother, the son of his mother, and he again wished to weep, and he entered the chamber, and he wept there. This is like the fourth or fifth time that he's left the boys to go weep for really, I think, the joy of seeing his brothers and this brother in particular. And of course, the love that he's seeing from his father, saying he's wept daily for Joseph all these years. What is Joseph right now? He's, how old is Joseph? When the brothers come back, Joseph, J-O, Joseph timeline. Joseph has got to be in his 40s, I think. 39 to 45 at the second time. Benjamin is 30. So he's 39 years old right now. Yeah, he would be one of the younger brothers. And yeah, that makes sense. Benjamin was 9 years younger than he was. Yeah, all right. Good to know. Is this your brother of whom you spoke unto me? And Benjamin approached. I said that about the great weeping. Joseph saw his brother, the son of his mother, and again he wished to weep. He entered in the chambers and he wept, and he washed his face and went out and refrained from weeping. And he said, prepare food. And Joseph had a cup from which he drank. The cup isn't even mentioned in chapter 43. I think it's going to be mentioned in chapter 44 of Genesis, but not in chapter 43. Look what it says about the cup. And Joseph had a cup from which he drank. It was of silver, beautifully inlaid with onyx stones and bdellium. And Joseph struck the cup in the sight of his brethren, whilst they were sitting and eating with him. And Joseph said unto the men, I know by this cup that Reuben, the firstborn, Simeon, Levi, Judah, Issachar, Zebulun, are children from one mother, sons from one mother, probably was sons from one mother. Seek yourselves according to your births. And he also placed the others according to their births. And he said, I know that this, your youngest brother, has no brother, and I, like him, have no brother. He shall therefore sit down to eat with me. Well, isn't this interesting that he knows their entire birth order? He gives credit to the cup. We're going to see it next week, kind of what's going on with that cup. And Benjamin went before Joseph and sat upon the throne. And the men beheld the acts of Joseph, and they were astonished at them. And the men ate and drank at that time with Joseph, and he gave them presents unto them. So here's the presents. They said portions. I think portions was the wrong word. I think it's the presents. Joseph gave one gift unto Benjamin. Manasseh and Ephraim saw the acts of their father, and they also gave presents unto him. Must have been 3. And Asnat gave him one present. And they were 5 presents in the hand of Benjamin. I think this is where it was going on. Did they all get presents? And he then gave presents to them. Yeah, he gave presents to all of them. But Benjamin got 5 times. He got five of them. And Joseph brought them out wine to drink, and they would not drink. And they said, from the day on which Joseph was lost, we have not drunk wine nor eaten any delicacies. And Joseph swore unto them. So they haven't eaten wine or or drank wine, or eaten delicacies. Is this kind of like a penance? I don't know. I wonder if they have not been drinking. I wonder if they have been drinking. I wonder if they had been drinking on the day they sold Joseph. Is that possible? Were they drunk on that particular day that they sold Joseph? I wonder. Or perhaps it's just part of their self-imposed penance. Could that be also? Maybe. And Joseph swore unto them, and he pressed them hard, and they drank plentifully. So now they're going to drink. Even though they haven't been drinking, they're going to drink. Again, I think he's trying to loosen them up a little bit so that they'll speak the truth. Drank plentifully with him on that day. And Joseph afterwards turned to his brother Benjamin to speak with him. And Benjamin was still sitting on the throne before Joseph. And Joseph said unto him, Hast thou begotten any children? Any sons? I'm sure it's sons. And he said, Thy servant has 10 sons. There it is, sons. And these are their names, Bela, Becher, Eshval, Gera, Naaman, Aki, Rosh, Mupim, Pumpim, and Ord. I called their names after my brother, whom I have not seen. How is those 10 names related to his brother? I don't know. And he ordered them to bring before him his map of the stars, whereby Joseph knew all the names, all the times, the seasons, perhaps the seasons. I think this is a pretty special map. Could it be a flat earth map? I wonder. And Joseph said unto Benjamin, I have heard that the Hebrews are acquainted with all wisdom. Dost thou know anything of this? And Benjamin said, Thy servant is knowing also. This is Benjamin talking. Thy servant is knowing also in all wisdom which my father taught me. And Joseph said unto Benjamin, Look now at this instrument and understand where thy brother Joseph is in Egypt, who you said went down to Egypt. We forget Jacob, in the first 77 years of his life, lived with Shem, one of the progenitors. Remember, Noah, Shem, Japheth, and Ham were the 3 men of which all the world comes from right now. He lived with Shem until he was from 18 until 56. And then he spent another 14 years. That's when Noah died. He spent another 14 years with Eber. He was trained by Shem and Eber for 46 of his 77 years, first 77 years of life. Do you think that was Jacob now? But do you think that Jacob then passed down this information to Joseph first, and especially to Benjamin? I think so. And Benjamin beheld the instrument with the map of the stars of heaven. And he was wise and looked therein to know where his brother was. And Benjamin divided the whole land of Egypt into 4 divisions. And he found that he was sitting upon the throne, before him was his brother Joseph. And Benjamin wondered greatly. And when Joseph saw that his brother Benjamin was so much astonished, he said unto Benjamin, What hast thou seen? And why art thou astonished? And Benjamin said unto Joseph, I can see by this that Joseph, my brother, sitteth here with me upon the throne. And Joseph said unto him, I am Joseph thy brother. Reveal not this thing to thy brother, and behold, I will send thee with them when they go away, and I will command them to come back again into the city, and I will take thee away from them. And if they dare their lives and fight for thee, then shall I know that they have repented of what they did unto me. And I will make myself known to them. And if they forsake thee, when I take thee, then shalt thou remain with me, and will wrangle with them, and they shall go away, and I will not become known to them. Remember, their father said, don't let Benjamin be separated from you on the road or in Egypt. Well, next week is going to be the test. Will the brothers fight or not? You know what? You don't see it in Torah. You don't see the strength of these men fighting for their brother in Egypt. Could they, 10 men, take out all of Egypt? We're going to see they can. And they will if things don't work out the way it's supposed to. Well, we're going to stop here. Thank you for joining me today, and we will see you next time. Thank you so much for joining me. Bye now.